Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Endless Urgency. I am your host, Mike Nellis. I am grateful to be joined here today by Nevada's amazing Attorney General and candidate for governor, Aaron Ford, who is a really good human being, an amazing Attorney General, and I think is going to be the next governor of Nevada. And then I just told him I'm going to make him take me to a blackjack table when he's the governor. We're going to be cock of the walk of the whole town. So while people are joining, do us a favor, smash the heart button for us to welcome the Attorney General to the show. The more you do that, the more people get a chance to see it now in the algorithm, also get a chance to see it later when Substack pushes it out. Please leave a comment, tell us where you're watching it from, and let us know your reaction to the show. Mr. Attorney General, thank you so much for joining the show.
Happy to be here. And by the way, I'm gonna take it to the casino, but I'm just gonna drop you off. I'm not gonna be responsible for you. I want to be clear about that.
All right, but let me ask you this. I'm gonna throw a Hail Mary, not Hail Mary, but an audible here. What's your casino of choice? Do you have a casino of choice? I feel like I have to ask.
I do not. I love them all.
You love them all equally. All right, I can't put
exactly right.
That's like
exactly
asking Governor Pritzker to choose White Sox or Cubs this weekend. Like, you can't do it, you know?
Perfect. Exactly right.
I respect the game. I prefer the Aria, just for the record. So if the Aria wants to sponsor the show, like, let me know. I'm happy. So I want to start here because we're living through this unprecedented era where the Department of Justice is being abused by the President of the United States to go after his political enemies. It's been just a really chaotic time, accusations of lawfare flying across the road. And like, you've done this work as the Attorney General and in other roles in your career. And I just want you to talk about how we get from a place of political retribution to getting back to having like the DOJ and our criminal justice system actually work for us to keep us safe.
Yeah, we got to get rid of them. That's the bottom line. I mean, folks need to show up and they need to vote. This political retribution you're talking about, you're exactly right. I mean, some of my own colleagues have been, the subject of it. And, fortunately, we've had individuals on the justice side who've stood up and pushed back. And, we do know that President Trump is a person who's about retribution. He's not really about families, American families, and in my estimation, Nevada families. He's about himself. He's about his billionaire friends, and he's about doing whatever he can to enrich himself at the expense of people like me and you and people who are tuning in into your podcast right now. And so the way to address that issue is to show up at the polls, vote, and put in people who are actually going to look out for the entirety of the American family is what I'll say in this instance.
Yeah, well, that leads me perfectly to my next question, because President of the United States in the last couple of days has said repeatedly that he doesn't give a damn about the American people's finances, being asked about the war as gas prices are rising. So I'm going to ask you what should be a very simple political question. Do you care about people's finances, and are you going to do something about it?
Absolutely. And that's the reason why we've already rolled out what we call our Affordable Nevada plan that addresses exactly issues like these. I've been talking to folks all across my state, all 17 counties, 18 stops over the course of over a week, talking to folks in every corner of our state. And look, here's what I've learned. What's trickled to the top, what I've discerned from these conversations across demographics, by the way, Democrats, Republicans, independents, rural folks, urban folks, suburban folks, Black, white, Latino, Asian, men, women. It didn't matter. Here's what I'm hearing. Stuff is too expensive. Period, point blank. And they want someone who is going to help to bring these costs down. And that's why we rolled out the Affordable Nevada plan that touches on, for example, housing, which is too high, touches on gas that's too high, touches on healthcare that's too high. And we're going to work hard to ensure we can bring those prices down.
So, and then let's talk about the race a little bit so that people have a little bit of context, because Nevada is a state that Donald Trump won. It's always very close. It feels like it's always the one that's going to give us, a bit of a nail biter towards the end there. Arizona, too, is right next door. Talk to me about where you are polling wise with Governor Lombardo. Like, talk to me about how that race is shaping up and how you see it at the moment.
Well, right now we are dead even. We have polls that have had me tied. We've had polls that have had me down, 1 or 2, but the margin of error being 3.5. This is a horse race. This is going to come down to a margin of error race, but we're confident that we're going to win. At the end of the day, it's because we're focusing on affordability, and it's because, frankly, I resonate or I can empathize with what people are dealing with. I come from a background where I grew up eating stale candy bars for dinner that my dad found at the dumpster behind the grocery store he worked at. Right? He brought them home because the boys got to eat. And I keep one of those types of candy bars, the Score bar, on my office desk at work to remind me every single day of who it is I'm fighting for, who I'm struggling, and who's out there struggling. And so it's that level of conversation I've had with folks that lets them know that I'm going to be the governor for the entirety of the Nevada family, not just this billionaire class of folks that the Lombardo Trump economy is catering to.
I love little things like that, like learning a bit about, why you have certain things on your desk. Like, for instance, like for me, and I'm not in my office right now, clearly, because the lighting here is terrible for me. I'm in a hotel room in New York City. But I have my grandfather was the postmaster general for Lackawanna County, Scranton, Pennsylvania, and I have his nameplate that just sits
Ah,
behind my office. Like, I just little things that ground you like that feel important. And when you learn more about Trump or you learn more about Lombardo, they don't have stuff like that. There's nothing that grounds them in reality. And when I have had attorneys general on the show before, I like to talk a bit about the sort of like, you guys get to do some really interesting stuff. Like, this is just,
yeah.
and your team was going to send over a couple of these things, but like, I knew about the Roblox lawsuit before, and the win that you had there. Will you talk to me a little bit about that? Because I just feel like you have such an interesting POV, and I've talked to your counterpart in New Mexico before about his work on this stuff too. It's just really cool. Can you talk a bit about that so people can learn more?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, Raul Torres, you talk about my colleague in New Mexico, he and I have something in common, and that is that we're going to focus on protecting our kids, right? Not only just from the mental components and the addiction of these social media platforms, but from the child predators that prey within the encryption, so to speak. And so, I was able to work with Roblox. I was getting ready to sue them, and in short of suing them, we were able to come to the table, sit down, and to put in some very strict requirements that are going to protect children in my state. It's the first of its kind in the nation. The monetary component is good because we're going to use it to help, get folks off of social media. But it's really more of the change of attitude and the change of practice that we put in. They won't be using encryption, for example, when they have their direct messaging. That means that my investigators can now look exactly at who these folks are who are preying on our kids. They're going to have age verification that once people were saying they couldn't do. They're going to add additional parental control so these parents can protect their children, and that's what's important to me, ensuring that we can protect our children again, not just the mental health components, but from these child predators who do their level best to skirt the law and to attack our children.
Yeah, and in the same vein of that, I want to ask you this because at the beginning of last year, when the Trump administration was going ham on just a thousand different issues and freaking all of us out, even just like regular people were pretty freaked out at the time of all the things that they were doing at the time. And people are also freaked out right now. I should be clear about that. But
Yeah.
if people would ask me, like when I would do the show or when I would go on another show, they'd be like, Mike, who do we look to for leadership? And I kept saying, like, look to state level Democrats, because the Democrats in Washington, as great as they can do that, and like I loved Cory Booker's filibuster, for example, like that's an example of an effective tactic we use. But there's not a lot that you can do. But as the attorney general, you actually can do a lot. So talk to me about those moments, or a moment or two over the last year, where you stood up to the Trump administration to deliver a win for Nevada.
Look, Mike, I have said before that attorneys general are the first line of defense and the last line of defense when it comes to pushing back against these unlawful actions coming out of the administration. I talked about this affordability crisis that this Lombardo Trump economy has wrought upon us. Some of it began with these tariffs. Right, which we knew as Democratic AGs immediately were unconstitutional and unlawful. So we went to court and we sued over it. Nevadans to this day are owed $1,700 extra dollars because that money was stolen from them because it is unlawful tariffs. They had to pay an extra $1,700 last year. We sued, we won, and because of that, Trump and his folks are having to open up a portal now where companies that paid these tariffs can go in and get their refunds. But I'm not going to stop until Nevadans get their refunds for the extra monies that they had to spend. That's one example. Look, I talk about growing up eating stale candy bars, but I went from eating stale candy bars to being a single parent in college. I was on Medicaid. That's what kept my son and me healthy. I was on food stamps. That's what kept my son and me fed. And so when you get this bill that they call beautiful, I have another B word for it, but they have a bill they call beautiful that's ripping 100,000 from healthcare from 100,000 Nevadans and Medicaid. That hits me differently because I know that it's a lifeline that helped me get to where I needed to be. During Thanksgiving, where 500,000 Nevadans were going to lose their SNAP benefits, I went to court and I sued over that to ensure that they got their money back. Now, what was Lombardo doing at that time? He was in Washington, D.C. at a $5,000 a plate fundraiser begging for Donald Trump's endorsement. He got it. Right. And the bottom line is that is exactly the differentiation between a Joe Lombardo and an Aaron Ford. I'm going to be looking out for Nevadans. That's what our lawsuits have done as attorneys general. And when I'm governor, I'm going to continue doing exactly that. Lombardo, he's looking out for himself. He's looking out for his billionaire friends and his donors. And we've had enough of that.
That's right. And I think the people in Nevada are going to be awfully sick of the way this has been going for the last, couple of years for sure in Nevada. I have a follow-up question on the tariff front, which is like how, because the Trump administration's made it pretty clear they're not planning on paying back the American people. They're just not. So like, how do we force them to do that? Is it another ruling from the Supreme Court? Because it seems like they punted on the mechanism for refunds.
Well, look, not only is he saying he doesn't want to give us his money back, guess who else is saying that? His buddy right here in Las Vegas, Nevada,
Right.
here in our state. Joe Lombardo began defending the tariffs by first saying we have to feel a little pain from them. Feel a little pain. That's what he said. Right. We win our lawsuit, by the way, a lawsuit that he called unfortunate. Right. And then he's asked point blank, should Nevadans receive refunds? His answer was, no, I don't think so. Right. So they are aligned. They are aligned entirely on these issues. They're not looking out for the Nevada family. They're not looking out for the people again, like you and I on this screen, and who your viewers are. What we have to continue doing is what you see us doing, fighting. We sued again twice. We sued twice now over these tariffs because Donald Trump tried to institute a new set of tariffs under a different statute that was also unlawful. We prevailed on that just last week. So we'll continue this fight until we hold them accountable and get that money back into the pockets of Nevadans.
Well, and it's amazing to me how often they talk about a little bit of pain. They're like, oh, we got to have a little bit of pain on the tariffs. It's been a year. Got to have a little bit of pain on the war. It's been months, even though they said it would take 2 weeks. Like, how much little bit of pains can the American people experience? Because they're just getting absolutely decimated right now.
Yep.
And I want to end it. I want to end it here with this question, which is just where can people go to learn more about you, your campaign? How can they get involved? Like, where do you want them to go?
I'd like you to check out my website, forwardfornevada.com, FORDFOR, Nevada, all spelled out.com. Check us out. We have an opportunity for you can sign up to volunteer, you can donate to the campaign, and you can check out our issues page to see where we stand on a lot of different topics. But at the end of the day, I am vying to be the next governor of the state of Nevada so I can look out for the entirety of the Nevada family, and I would appreciate your support.
And everybody, I would encourage you to go to forwardfornevada.com. I dropped it into the comments down below. We need to elect more Democratic governors. We have a perfect opportunity to do that in this environment. Beating an incumbent Republican would send a loud message. I know we're always so focused on federal politics, but your governors, your mayors, your local elected officials have so much power to influence and improve your life. And the Attorney General is going to make an amazing governor. When you win, I'm still going to make you take me. At least you're going to drive me to the casino. But thank you so much. I almost called you governor there, so I'm already getting the home.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, future governor, for joining the show. Everybody, thank you so much for joining. We'll all talk again soon. Good luck out there.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.